This is an upload for the 19th of April 2020 with regard to this ongoing issue of human rights violations that's intentionally being ignored in Tralee, County Kerry, Ireland. Um, Basically, these uploads are repetitive, monotonous, and tedious, and there's obviously the issue of these uploads being ignored and intentionally not being acknowledged simply due to the inconvenience of the culprits for wrongdoings and offences to confront and rectify the offences that have been perpetrated against me. I've been on to Transparency, and Transparency Ireland in this country are obliged to assist in Irish EU citizens being um, supported when such offences are being perpetrated, as has happened since I gave birth and got married in 2015 in this country. Um, the issue that I am very concerned about with regard to all of these wrongdoings that are occurring is the particular aspect of the spiritual violence that was perpetrated. Now, obviously, I'm coming to terms with the fact that there is a lack of acknowledgement by the politicians and authorities to the reality of this situation. Marital desertion and, you know, adultery and property theft and such things, and financial theft and financial abuse aren't easy for any professional educator and mother and deserted wife to come to terms with. But the issue of officials and politicians ignoring very serious wrongdoings against a light worker, a Royal Angelic light worker, as I keep reiterating, that was spiritually assaulted in a 2 year space of time from 2017 up to 2020. That issue is a little bit more serious. Um, as much as people like to live in denial and to deceive um, or change and alter the facts of a situation, as has been happening in this matter, the facts aren't changeable, and those culprits that are disrespectful towards any woman and family unit in 2020 is a very huge issue of concern. Politicians of Europe and Ireland are aware, I'm sure, of the real facts of this situation. It's quite serious due to my property rights, but it's also quite serious due to the spiritual violations and damage done to my light body. This aspect is what I'm particularly concerned about recently, when, you know, there's been bodily integrity violations that I'm speaking of, and medical incompetence as well that have been ignored. So I'm just surprised that in 2020 professionals have chosen not to confront and rectify and compensate for the damages that they've done, and that they are possibly contemplating further offences and wrongdoings. There are people that have been new to this situation, that haven't a full background of this situation, that don't have full knowledge of this situation, and that don't have accurate information of my experiences and credentials. And there's a lot of falsehoods also in this situation that haven't been clarified or consulted about. It's very serious that there have been any professional individuals making any decisions about this situation, about this person also, and my rights, my human rights, my constitutional rights of Ireland and the EU, to be refusing to acknowledge the offences and the thefts that I've experienced due to individuals basically causing all this trouble, as that has been caused in the past between 2003 and 2007. Um, for this to be occurring again is very serious, and this issue is a significant issue with the deception that's involved. There are facts, as I'm saying, and information that have not been relayed accurately or honestly. And for those of the fellowship and that are fully aware worldwide, as it is a worldwide fellowship, for those that are aware of how this situation has commenced and how it's progressed and how it's been exacerbated and how there's been such conspiratorial contributions by people, individuals that have just added fuel to fire that shouldn't have been lighting at all. So people have caused a very serious issue for me. I was happily raising my child and enjoying motherhood and marriage until this vendetta began and began to get more serious as time has gone on. And for the Taoiseach in particular, I'm surprised there hasn't been an acknowledgement to my victim impact statement and the wrongdoings that I've reported. But obviously, the cost of the damages done um, are intentionally being ignored, and the regard for women's rights and children's rights is being also disregarded. So, from a spiritual perspective, as a light worker, um, and those people that have claimed falsehoods and that have caused disruption and that have perpetrated such serious financial abuse and such serious financial theft of a professional educator of the Department of Education and as a property owner as well. These legal violations and obstructions of justice is absolutely horrendous. So these people that have continued to falsify and lie and defame and that have intentionally isolated and undermined the individual that they have stolen so much from, that they have assaulted, and that they have exploited and prospered from. Um, I'm absolutely appalled that this is the reality of the situation. So, this upload um, is for the interest of the fellowship members that are aware of the full facts of this situation, of the spiritual violence, the spiritual light theft, and the defamation of Emer Griffin McElligott yet again by culprits perpetrating vendetta number two after vendetta number one over a decade ago that I recovered from. But this today um, on the 19th of April 2020 is a more worrying situation that authorities have still not acknowledged the facts of this matter, and that it is a sad sign of the times when the family unit and women's rights and children's rights are disregarded, and when people try to deceive with just turning a blind eye and refuting and denying the facts of the matter. So that's all of what I need to share today. So this upload, as I'm saying, is for the interests of the fellowship members, and it's common knowledge, the culprits. It's common knowledge, the lies that have been told. It's common knowledge, the damage that's been done. So I'd appreciate it as a professional for all adult educators also to realize how serious uh, example, poor example, is being set in society, and that no matter how much people try to delude themselves of the reality and the truth and the facts of a matter, those kind of things aren't alterable and they're not changeable. And for the interest of those that participated in damaging my light body and exploited my gifts, light, and blessings that I attained on my spiritual path, for the knowledge of those individuals. I hope they understand the spiritual perspective of, you know, the original and source holder of those gifts, light, and blessings that you stole from. What my perspective is, which is justifiably disgusted and to have been so disrespected and to have this matter ongoing, these uploads are ongoing. It's tedious to have to relay these every day, but this is what's happening. This is my experience when reporting and explaining and complaining about offences that have been intentionally perpetrated against me as a deserted wife, um, property owner, mother, and teacher, and humanitarian. So this is what it's like when a vendetta is occurring, and I hope that those worldwide in the fellowship are fully aware of the experience that's occurring and the dangers that are being caused by those perpetrating hate crime and these kind of vendettas of human rights violations. So I would hope also that the politicians realise how sad a sign of the times this is, and that as an Irish EU citizen, those obstructing justice are not laying good foundations for a hopeful, prosperous, fortuitous future for future generations when such deception and such disrespect is being sown in 2020 in Tralee, County Kerry, Ireland.